Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. Muhammad Nazim with the 27th lecture. Today is my second lecture on written communication. In my last lecture, I told you that from here onwards, we'll be learning how to transform all we learn to speak orally. Oral communication is one part, but written is equally important. And I mentioned to you the importance of written communication in my last lecture. But today, I would like to share with you one of my thoughts. और वो सोच जो अक्सर मुझे डिस्टर्ब करती है, गालिबन आप भी कभी सोचते होंगे, और अगर नहीं तो आज के बाद सोचना शुरू करेंगे कि in a daily life we receive lot of material, lot of printed material. It comes in the form of handouts. आप सुबह अखबार उठाने जाते हैं तो उसके अंदर printed material, distributive material होता है. आप अपनी ईमेल खोलते हैं तो जंक मेल आती है. आप कभी उसको पढ़ने की कोशिश करते हैं, कभी नहीं करते. But there's a lot of written material which in one form or the other reaches you. But what is it that you are not tempted to go through that material? I fail to understand at times that after all, so much effort, so much money, so much resources has gone into the production of that material. What is it that persons like me do not even dare to open it, read it? Straight away we throw it into the garbage bin. सोचिए, ऐसा क्यों? Why do we call it junk mail? After all, there's a lot of information. But the thing is, whatever the information that printed material carries has not been written effectively. आप सड़क पे जाते हुए दाएं बाएं सामने आपको बिलबोर्ड्स नजर आते हैं. कुछ तो बड़े कैची होते हैं. You get immediately caught by a beautiful wording, a slogan, and you get absorbed. That is what I'm trying to focus your attention upon. ये आर्ट आपने सीखनी है कि write in such a manner that your reader is tempted to know more about. जहां बोलने के आर्ट को आपने उसके ऊपर महारत हासिल करनी है, जहां लर्निंग एबिलिटीज को मास्टर करना है, likewise writing abilities is equally important. And you need to know what is that tempts your reader to know more about, to read what you are wanting him or her to read. This is what is known as the effective communication, effective written communication. लिहाजा आज के बाद मेरे लेक्चर्स जो हैं वो फोकस करेंगे ऑन द इफेक्टिविटी ऑफ रिटन कम्युनिकेशन. और जो मैं एलिमेंट्स की मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूं, द एलिमेंट्स विच आर नीडेड फॉर राइटिंग इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन, आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड विद यू द फर्स्ट एलिमेंट. रिमेंबर, कर्टेसी. आज के बाद आई इंशाल्लाह ट्राई to complete all the elements which are desired for mastering the art of effective communication. Once you have done that, then you will learn how to present the material with all the careful elements which will make your writing effective, attractive, and absorbing for the reader. Last lecture mein, I focused a lot on courtesy. Almost the whole lecture was on courtesy, and rightly so, because unless and until your writing doesn't have the element of courtesy, the accommodation, the consideration, the feelings of your reader, आपकी writing का वही हाल होगा जो कि junk mail का हाल. People will just receive your correspondence, your letter, whatever you send to your reader, they'll throw it into garbage without. When once you are courteous to the reader, and once you develop the attitude which I keep on referring again and again, the audience-centered approach, then people, your reader especially, would say, well, the writer is writing something which is for my benefit. So this establishment of a relationship which I mentioned in my last lecture, that you try to understand the needs, the feelings, the emotions. Once you focus on that and then you start writing, you have the element of courtesy incorporated into your writing. And I mentioned a word, empathy, when I was talking about the oral communication. Don't forget that. In writing too, you need to have the element of empathy, because you have to make your reader feel that you think about, and whatever you are doing is for his or her benefit. Remember, I mentioned about few of the things which I said you have to understand the nature in order to humanize your writing. And I said that people are defensive. Remember that? I'll try to recap quickly so that I could move to the second element. People are defensive. That people would see, people would ask when they receive the correspondence, what is there for me? Why should I waste time on reading? So you have to consider that. People, at the same time, they are self-centered. They want to know that why should they waste their time? And then they will, likewise I said, they will defend if you try to be arrogant, if you try to be irritating, because it is not being egocentric. It's trying to be playing safe and reacting to what you write in such a manner that they say, well, I have my own priorities. And I also said to you that people are not perfect. People will make mistakes. You have to overlook in your writing. And that's the courtesy element. You have to, at the same time, to believe that people do their best. And you have to overlook the faults. And you try to be behaving in a fashion that, well, tomorrow you could as well be there in the situation, and how would you like to be treated with? So with all these things in mind, I finally concluded my last lecture by saying that you have to overcome all the biases we all carry with us in our lives. Age bias, gender bias, ethnic racial bias, disability bias. So, मैं इसलिए इन चीज़ों को रिपीट कर रहा हूँ कि आज जो एलिमेंट्स मैंने कंक्लूड करने हैं अपने फॉर developing the writing skills, this is the most important, and I want to freshen up in your memory that having emphasized the importance of courtesy, we will be moving on the next elements which are essential for making your writing effective. Screen पे देखिए वही 6 elements: courtesy, correctness, conciseness, clarity, concreteness, and completeness. We now know much about courtesy. Let's talk about the correctness. कोई correspondence जब भी आपके सामने आता, कोई message if you receive, if the message is not correct and you somehow are able to find out information which is provided to you is not correct, you are being deceived, you are being hoodwinked, the reader gets put off. सबसे पहला basic element आपके दिमाग में जरूर होना चाहिए कि whatever you write, whatever information you provide to your customer, to your reader, it should be correct. You must have the courage to write the facts. और एक और चीज, पहले तो facts, correctness, and secondly, I said to you in oral communication, there's something which is the non-verbal part, appearance. आपने फैक्चुअल रिपोर्टिंग, करेक्ट रिपोर्टिंग को किस फॉर्मेट में देना है? इन द करेक्ट फॉर्मेट विच द रीडर वुड लाइक टू रिसीव. ये पहली बात तो ये. See to it that your writing is free of all error. The word usage is appropriate. Spelling, grammar, मैं डिटेल में भी थोड़ी देर के बाद, but I'm just trying to touch upon these things. You may overlook that these are petty things. What matters is the main meat, the substance, but no. Matter really makes a great impact. It would reflect the professionalism of a person who is writing. It has to be neat. It has to be attractive in appearance. याद रहे, oral communication में मैंने आपको कहा था कि when I receive the CVs of prospective applicants, the people who are desirous of applying for jobs, then the first impression I get from the CV is what's the format. देखने में application कैसी है, क्या मटेरियल जो कि वो मुझे ट्रांसफर करना चाहता है, डज इट आउटस्टैंड फ्रॉम वॉट एवर ही इज रिटन. सो दैट इज वॉट इज incorporated into the aspect, into the element of correctness. If you want to improve correctness of the material you write, then you must follow the 4 rules or 4 guidelines. स्क्रीन पे देखिए. पहले है राइटिंग एट अ लेवल दैट विल बी अंडरस्टूड बाय द रीडर. मैं आपको डिटेल में बताऊंगा कि व्हाट डू आई मीन बाय राइटिंग एट अ लेवल व्हिच द रीडर कुड अंडरस्टैंड. सेकंड इज द assuring the accuracy of words, information and the data which you are providing to your reader. Then you have to apply the principles of grammar and punctuation. And fourthly, you have to spell the words correctly. Apparently, आप मुझे कहेंगे ये तो बहुत सतही सी बातें कर रहा है, but it makes a lot of impact. It makes a lot of difference if you receive a document which has got any one of these things missing. Let's talk a little bit about using the right level of language. When I say the right level of language, mind it, if I am writing a letter to my customer and I write according to my own level, according to my own ability, and I completely forget that who is my reader, उसकी लैंग्वेज की परफेक्शन कितनी है, वो उसका लेवल क्या है. सपोजिंग एकेडमिकली उसका, मैं I'm writing in English, और उसका एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड इज ओनली मैट्रिक और इंटर, और मैं उसको इंग्लिश में कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस जो कर रहा हूं, उसमें जो मैं इंग्लिश की मैं राइटिंग के लेवल है वो एमए का है. Do you think my message would be transmitted effectively? Not at all. आपकी राइटिंग की effectivity would be based on that you understand the level of your reader. You use the language which your reader can understand. अगर वो आपका लेवल इतना हाई है और आप राइटिंग को वो अंडरस्टैंड ही नहीं कर पा रहा, so the words you use and the way you use to form sentences will affect the comprehension of your message. आप सिंपल वर्ड्स इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, आप सेंटेंस की कंस्ट्रक्शन बड़ी कॉम्प्लेक्स है, कॉम्प्रिहेंशन अफेक्ट करेगी आपके रीडर. सपोजिंग यू आर राइटिंग इन अ वेरी स्टिफ एंड अ फॉर्मल मैनर, तो आपकी राइटिंग बड़ी फॉर्मल होगी. ऑन द अदर हैंड, इफ यू आर राइटिंग इनफॉर्मली, द वे you are conversing, it will be informal writing. देखिए, formal writing इसी तरह से है जैसे you formally dress up, you go to a formal meeting, you are in a formal environment. Formal English बिल्कुल इसी तरह से. और ये formal English you will find in research papers, in publications, in literature. मगर आपका relationship, आपका rapport with your customer is not formal. It is informal. You want to be very courteous. You want to be very friendly. You want to pass the message. And that message can be only passed in an informal environment, conversational environment. Mind it, informal English is the language of business correspondence, written for general readership. That has to be more conversational. आप अपनी राइटिंग को ज्यादा फॉर्मलाइज ना कीजिए. जब भी बिजनेस राइटिंग करें, इनफॉर्मल और टू द पॉइंट, but understanding the level. If you are writing to an audience very literate, accordingly आप अपनी इंग्लिश का और राइटिंग का लेवल उस मुकाम पर लाइए. अदरवाइज whosoever the audience, naturally अगर आपने if your audience is in the rural areas, आप उन्हीं की लैंग्वेज में उन्हीं के लेवल पे बात करें. लेट्स लुक एट द एग्जाम्पल. मैं आपको आज के लेक्चर में बहुत सी एग्जाम्पल्स दूंगा ताकि ये सारी चीजें आप पे क्लियर हो जाएं. ये एक here is a formal way of writing. Please inform me of the manner in which you intend to liquidate this balance. अब ये देखिए इस सेंटेंस के अंदर कितनी फॉर्मल स्टाइल ऑफ राइटिंग है. Liquidate this balance. Who will understand liquidation? And you are saying, please tell me the manner in which you, this is not a conversation. अगर मैं इसको informal तरीके से लिखूंगा, very simple, I will say, please let me know when you plan to pay the outstanding balance of your account. अब think for a while कि पहली formal statement में did you really get the message? Surely not. It was difficult. The writing style was heavy, formal. लिहाजा informal तरीका. This is the business way of writing. आपने जब भी formal writing करनी है तो आप ऐसे words use करेंगे जो कि has got meanings or which are used in literature or reports. But informal में writing में आप कैसे you can use meanings of the words which are simple. आइए आपको कुछ examples मैं देता हूं. Like this word ascertain. It's a very formal word. अगर इसकी जगह आप लफ्ज इस्तेमाल करेंगे find out. If I say I would like to ascertain the position you have and then determine. No, not the way. Ascertain means I'll find out straight away. Use the word find out. We are trying to endeavor to provide you some extra facility. We are endeavoring to. Now here, if endeavor की जगह हम लफ्ज try करें, because the word endeavor is in place of trying. Procure word. It's a very heavy word. Instead, if you use the word get, easy word. Informal word. Utilize. Use simple word. Use. तो देखिए ऐसे लफ्ज आज के बाद whenever you read a message, कोई business correspondence, look at the things and try to find out कि इनको कैसे आप simplify कर सकते. Let's go to the second part, and that is the check accuracy of words, information and data. When I say check the accuracy of the words, information and data, I mean to say that you have to be careful that you use words, data, information which is accurate. आप अगर you are using a lot of heavy words, you are using words which, as I said, are not familiar with the audience, and you are giving in through that information which is hidden, which is not clear, which could give doubt or raise concerns, don't do that. You have to be very clear and straightforward. And if you are suspicious of the information you are providing to your reader, don't do it, don't risk it. Only give that information which you think correct. Avoid using words with an idea to impress the reader. देखिए बिजनेस राइटिंग में आपने अपने रीडर को impress नहीं कर. The purpose of the business writing is to do business with people, to promote a relationship, to establish good rapport with your customer. There's no question of leaving an impression. On the other hand, it's a question of getting the business done. So the key to communicate clearly is that if the goal is to get a result of what you desire, then you have to make sure that your reader understands your message. And that's why you don't have to try to impress with any flowery or pompous writing. Now, also, you have got another thing in mind, that you want to leave a good impression. You want to maintain the goodwill that your organization and yourself as a person dealing with that customer is important. So that goodwill can be destroyed with just a minor error if you give wrong information, wrong data. One error in a letter, one figure or a digit can make a big difference. आप इमेजिन कीजिए कि आपने अगर कोई लेटर, कोई मैसेज अपने कस्टमर को भेजा और उसके अंदर just you have by some error placed the decimal at a wrong point, what impact would it make? Your reader might get disturbed because it might give him a wrong image. Supposing he has got a certain amount of money, but just a misplace of decimal could give an impression that his total balance has been reduced. He will be totally annoyed. He'll get suspicious. So accuracy of words, information and data, इसके ऊपर बहुत ध्यान रखें, and don't take this very lightly. Use correct grammar and punctuation. As I said to you, that it leaves a very good impression on a customer if the letter is well written. मैंने कहा कि आपका लेटर में गलत ग्रामर का लिखना और गलत पंक्चुएशन का would leave a very bad impact, rather a negative impact. That will reflect the lack of professionalism prevalent in the organization जहां से आप काम कर रहे हैं. और other than that, sometimes it could cost you very heavy. Because comma here or there, misplaced comma changes the whole meaning of a sentence. जैसे अगर मैं ये कहूं that I'm ready to consider compensating for the student's loss. Now here, I say for the student's loss. अगर मैंने इसको apostrophe s students plural के बाद लगाऊंगा तो बहुत सारे students की loss की बात कर रहा हूं, और अगर एक के बाद student apostrophe s changes the meaning. तो ये apostrophe s को shift करने से मायने बदल. तो लिहाजा आप as a writer, it is your responsibility. Mind it, the first draft जो कि आपके सामने अगर आए तो that carries lots of grammar mistakes, then certainly it's a fault of the typist. But once you sign the document, it's your responsibility. उसमें गलतियां हैं और your receiver complains about, then you can't shift the blame. ये मेरे typist ने गलती कर दी. Since it carries your signature, it's your responsibility. So be careful and keep in mind, correctness especially because of the grammar and punctuation is you are responsible for, and you only sign when you have carefully gone through the text. Check correct spelling. मैंने जैसे अभी कहा कि आपने जहां ग्रामर और पंक्चुएशन को देखना है तो आपने स्पेलिंग्स भी देखना. डोंट डिपेंड ऑन द स्पेल चेक. हम बहुत गलतियां करते. कई दफा आजकल जैसे जैसे टेक्नोलॉजी ने हमारी बहुत सी मुश्किलात को आसान कर दी है, वहां प्रॉब्लम्स भी क्रिएट किए. वी ब्लाइंडली अप्लाई द स्पेल चेक एंड से वेल देन पिक इट अप. लेकिन स्पेल चेक बाज दफा कई चीजें नहीं पिक करता, और स्पेशली वर्ड्स which have got different spellings but same like say principal और principal फर्क है. PAL है और PLE गालिबन आपका स्पेल चेक इसको ओवरलुक कर सकता है. तो be careful that when you are checking for the spellings, just like you checked for the commas, punctuations, और मैंने जैसे कहा कि ये आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, before signing also look for the correct spellings. आइए talk about the third element, and that is the conciseness. Effective writing is concise. Each word, each sentence, each paragraph counts. When I say writing briefly, concretely, concisely, that is it. आपने अपनी जो लैंग्वेज है उसको इस तरीके से यूटिलाइज करनी है, मिनिमम पॉसिबल वर्ड्स में आपने इफेक्टिव राइटिंग का मफहूम बता देना. Saying what you want to say in the fewest possible words without sacrificing the quality is what conciseness is all about. अच्छा राइटर वो है जो अपना भी टाइम बचाता है और रीडर का भी टाइम बचाता है. ज्यादा लिखने में वक्त दरकार है, एनर्जी, and writing is a difficult exercise. It is not easy. The more you write, the more chances are you will make mistakes. देखिए एक और भी गुर है, आप अगर ज्यादा लिख रहे हो, you are providing more information than is desired, then the reader will assimilate, then you are asking for more questions. You are asking for more information, your reader. So only what is desirable, what your reader wants. Concise, save time and expense for receiver and the sender. That is the beauty of effective writing. And also, when you eliminate unnecessary words, you let the important ideas stand out. आप जब ज्यादा लिखते हो, ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन देते हो, lengthy sentences लिखते हो, तो आपके salient features get embedded into the whole information and data you are providing. So it doesn't stand out. To the point, concise will make your information stand out. Now, to be concise, start following 3 rules. First, eliminate wordy expression. And when I say wordy expression, मेरा कहने का मकसद वो information जो आप few words में दे सकते हो, उसको ज्यादा एलैबोरेट करने की, ज्यादा फ्लारी इंग्लिश और अननेसेसरी वर्बोसिटी में इन्वॉल्व होने की कोई जरूरत नहीं. आइए एक एग्जांपल देखते हैं. द एग्जांपल इज दैट हियर इज समथिंग रिटन. वी वुड लाइक टू आस्क यू टू रिटर्न द फॉर्म एनक्लोज्ड हियरिन एट योर अर्लीएस्ट पॉसिबल कन्वीनियंस. इन अकॉर्डेंस विद योर रिक्वेस्ट, we have a consensus of opinion. Look at that. We have a consensus of opinion that the washing machine that you purchased when you are in our store is at this time still under warranty. Before I show you the changed text, the text which is less wordy, focus कीजिए, खुद एनालाइज कीजिए, देखिए कहाँ कहाँ verbosity में, कहाँ कहाँ वर्डी unnecessary words डाले गए. Is there a need to tell that in accordance with your request that we have got a consensus of opinion? मैंने आपको कहा था पहले कि formal और informal words क्या हैं. Consensus is a informal word. It's not a formal word. An ordinary reader would not understand it. And then writing that when you are in our store, superfluous words. आइए देखें कि इसको हम simplify कैसे करते हैं. हम अपना मफहूम, अपने मायने सिंपल फ्यू वर्ड्स में कैसे कॉन्क्रीटली उसको एलैबोरेट करते हैं. द करेक्टेड वर्जन, द कंसाइज इंफॉर्मेशन इज द वारंटी ऑन योर मशीन इज स्टिल इन इफेक्ट. अब मैंने आपको पहले कहा था कि आपने जिस चीज पे फोकस करना था वो दब गई है इसके अंदर, और इस पहली वाली राइटिंग के अंदर this point came last. It mentioned that it is still under warranty. This is what should be highlighted. So the warranty on your machine is still in effect. As soon as you return the enclosed form, this is what action you should do. We will send our repair technician to your home. Message is very clear. Now you understand what conciseness does. पहले देखिए कितनी लंबी writing briefly. That's how you should practice writing effectively. आइए थोड़ा सा कंपैरिजन करें कि वर्डी एक्सप्रेशंस क्या होते हैं और आपने उसको कंसाइसली कैसे उन वर्डी एक्सप्रेशंस को चेंज करना है. इसी में हमने देखा इन अकॉर्डेंस विद योर रिक्वेस्ट. सिंपली यू कैन एज यू रिक्वेस्टेड. 3 words in place of 5 words. Consensus of opinion. Concise, we agree. Held a meeting. We held a meeting and we decided. We met. देखिए मैंने जैसे आपको कहा था कि आप जितना ज्यादा लिखेंगे आपका टाइम, एंड समटाइम्स रीडर आर वेरी वेरी impatient. They quickly want to get what the message is there embedded in your writing. Wordy expression at this time. Now, 1 word. A long period of time. A long time. आज के बाद, keeping this in your mind, whenever you read anything, see to it that the writing is in this fashion, concise, to the point, और उसके अंदर ज्यादा verbosity ना हो, minimum possible, and it is difficult. It is beautiful. आप कितने मुख्तसर अल्फाज में अपना मफहूम बयान कर दें, this is the beauty. Whether it is in oral or in written, but precisely in written, because since you are not present, it is important that you use concise language. Second point for conciseness is that you include only relevant material. मैंने आपको कहा था कि the reader is impatient, that you should only apply, give that information which is necessary, which is required. So to be sure that you include only relevant facts, observe few things. 1, stick to the purpose of the message. Message का purpose क्या है? You have to only observe unnecessary. If you simply want to inform, just give the information. Don't divulge in more details. If you want to persuade, then only. Otherwise, purpose क्या है message का? Delete irrelevant words and rambling sentences. Sentences जिनके अंदर बहुत ज्यादा unnecessary information है, unnecessary words इस्तेमाल किए, उनको delete कीजिए. Omit information obvious to the receiver. Don't repeat. जो information receiver के पास already है उसको repeat करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं. Avoid long introductions, unnecessary explanations, excessive adjectives and propositions are not required. आइए हम कुछ examples देखते हैं and see how it will make you clear that wordy expressions को आप कैसे concisely keeping these things in mind can make it effective. एक wordy expression मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूं स्क्रीन पे देखिए. We hereby wish to let you know that our company is pleased with the confidence you have reposed in us. कितनी wordy expression है. We wish to let you know our company is pleased. Unnecessary. Don't need it. Just in 4 words. We appreciate your confidence. That's all. वो चीज जो आपने 3 sentences में कही है, you can simply say in 4 words. Third important thing for conciseness is avoid unnecessary repetition. हम writing में देखते हैं अक्सर that people have to sometimes use names, organizations' names, or institutions' names again and again, or refer back to something which you've already mentioned in previous pages or paragraphs written earlier. You can avoid repeating such things. So the 3 ways to eliminate unnecessary repetitions are: 1, that use a shorter name after you have mentioned the long name once. Supposing I'm talking about a business communication center in my letter, and if I have to mention, refer back to the same center again, then instead of writing Business Communication Center, I can use the word the center only, or Business Center. So that's how a good way of being concise and precise. आप उसको सिर्फ abbreviate कर दीजिए. Use initials rather than repeating long name. Like instead of using virtual university again and again in your writing, say VU. आप कहते हैं World Trade Organization, say WTO. तो आप ऐसे initials, abbreviations आप इस्तेमाल करके you can avoid unnecessary repetition in your writing. Cut out needless repetition of phrases and sentences. बाज़ दफ़ा unnecessary phrases होते हैं, sentences they're not required. Let's look at that from an example. Here is a wordy expression again. Continue to utilize the old form until such time as the new form is available. Ab, this is again wordy expression. इसके अंदर information is not clear. अगर मैं इसको concisely put करना चाहूँगा, look at the effective way of writing. Start using the new form from February or on February. See, here it's very clear. मैंने यहाँ precisely information दे दी कि start using the new form from February 1 onwards, or whatever date you want, rather than saying keep continuing till such time new forms are available. So that's how you can avoid, using wordy expressions, be concise, and give enough of information to your reader. Fourth important element is clarity. Clarity, as the word would reveal to you, that whatever you have got in your mind, you like to share it as clearly as you want to be understood by the other person with whom you are corresponding. Now this is not easy, because I want that मेरे दिमाग में इस वक्त जो thoughts हैं, जो ideas हैं, वो मैं आपको transmit कर दूं exactly in the same fashion, exactly with the same meanings, exactly with the same concept जो कि मैं इस वक्त सोच रहा हूं. और अगर मैं उसको clearly आपके साथ communicate कर सकूं, I have achieved my objective. So writing के अंदर, when the writer transforms his or her ideas through the words and with clarity can transmit those words to the receiver, the objective is achieved. But unfortunately, since our experiences are different, since our concepts are different, our backgrounds are different, we interpret words differently, and that's where clarity gets at times difficult to be transmitted through written communication. लिहाजा हमें writing के वक्त clarity को observe करने के लिए, practice करने के लिए, I will advise you to follow two rules. One, choosing precise, concrete and familiar words. देखिए, बड़ा आसान है कि अगर मेरी और आपकी vocabulary सिमिलर हो जाए, जो लफ्ज आप इस्तेमाल करते हैं वही मैं करना शुरू कर दूं, क्लैरिटी. लेकिन अगर मैं अपनी लैंग्वेज में कुछ ऐसी एक्सप्लेनेशन के लिए कॉन्क्रीट वर्ड्स इस्तेमाल करूं जो कि मैं समझता हूं नीड टू बी यूज्ड, बट दे आर नॉट देयर इन योर वोकैबुलरी, देन दैट विल बी डिफिकल्ट. तो पहली बात, आप यू हैव टू चूज बिटवीन द precise and concrete words or the words which are familiar to the audience, to the reader. और दूसरा है construct effective sentences and paras. How to choose between familiar words and precise and concrete. Now, clarity is received through a balance between precise language or concrete language. You select exactly the right words to convey your meanings. आप अपने मीनिंग्स को कन्वे करने के लिए एट टाइम्स कुछ ऐसे प्रिसाइज और कॉन्क्रीट वर्ड्स इस्तेमाल करते हैं जो कि मीनिंग तो कम्युनिकेट कर देते हैं, लेकिन वो उसकी वोकैबुलरी में नहीं होते, वो फेमिलियर नहीं होते, लिहाजा क्लैरिटी नहीं आती. फेमिलियर वर्ड्स आर कन्वर्सेशनल. अगर मैं आपसे कहूं कि लुक, इफ यू वांट टू deblock the clogged pipe, then the efficacy of hydrochloric acid is indisputable. अब मैंने concrete words use किए हैं, मैंने precise words use किए हैं. But these words are not familiar with you. I said efficacy, indisputable, I'm talking about hydrochloric acid. No. ये आपकी vocabulary में टर्मिनोलॉजी है ही नहीं. मैंने ये जो जार्गन्स इस्तेमाल और भी कर सकता हूं, वो यू नॉट फेमिलियर विद. लिहाजा क्लैरिटी तभी आएगी जब आई एम चूजिंग वर्ड्स प्रिसाइसली और छोटे अल्फाज. आई एम नॉट यूजिंग लॉन्ग सेंटेंसेज, आई एम यूजिंग फेमिलियर लैंग्वेज, आई एम यूजिंग फेमिलियर वर्ड्स. हम इनकी एग्जाम्पल्स वन बाय वन देखते हैं. दैट विल मेक द थिंग्स मोर क्लियर. आप अगर लॉन्ग वर्ड्स यूज करेंगे तो भी उसके अंदर क्लैरिटी नहीं आएगी. लेट्स लुक एट एन एग्जांपल. ड्यूरिंग द प्रीसीडिंग ईयर द कंपनी वाज एबल टू एक्सेलरेट द प्रोडक्टिव ऑपरेशंस. नाउ हियर आई एम यूजिंग लॉन्ग वर्ड्स लाइक द प्रीसीडिंग ईयर. मे बी आपकी वोकैबुलरी में ये फेमिलियर वर्ड नहीं है. अगर मैं इसको इस तरह से कहूंगा, लास्ट ईयर द कंपनी वाज एबल टू स्पीड अप ऑपरेशंस, इजी. बट to accelerate the productive operations and the preceding years, don't. Long words. They're not precise. The president acceded to the proposition to nullify the contractual relationship. आप कहेंगे कि मैंने precise word इस्तेमाल किया, nullify, concrete word है. President acceded to, but familiar words नहीं है. Long words हैं, the reader would perhaps find it difficult to understand. And if I put it the other way, the president agreed to break the contract, conversational language. See? So, choosing precise words. आइए concrete words की आपको मैं थोड़ी सी मिसाल दे दूं. Now, the dividing line between the abstract or concrete words is very difficult. Abstract words वो होते हैं जिनके मायने एक से ज्यादा होते, एंड यू लीव इट ऑन टू योर रीडर टू एक्सट्रैक्ट, टू डिग आउट कि ये वर्ड क्यों इस्तेमाल किया गया. एक से ज्यादा मायने होंगे. इफ आई से वी हैड अ साइजेबल लॉस लास्ट ईयर, अब आई कीप द ऑडियंस गेसिंग साइजेबल लॉस. कितना लॉस हो गया भाई? इफ आई से कॉन्क्रीट क्या होगा? 54% लॉस. कॉन्क्रीट. अच्छा, आई एम गोइंग टू हेल्प यू इन द नियर फ्यूचर. व्हाट डज इट मीन नियर फ्यूचर? 1 month, 1 year, 10 years? Vague. Abstract. Concrete is, I'm going to help you on Friday, coming Friday. That's concrete. लिहाजा आप अपनी राइटिंग के अंदर concrete words इस्तेमाल कीजिए, और अगर आपने कंफ्यूज कर रहा, फाइन, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट. अदरवाइज प्रिसाइज, बिजनेस लेटर्स में टू द पॉइंट, concrete. आइए कुछ हम अनफेमिलियर और फेमिलियर वर्ड्स को भी देख लें. लाइक पीपल यूज द वर्ड ascertain in place of find out. peruse बड़ा लफ्ज इस्तेमाल होता है. I'm sending this information for your perusal. आप अक्सर बिजनेस राइटिंग में ये लफ्ज देखेंगे. The word is study. Subsequent, after. What is your remuneration? Even difficult to pronounce. So remuneration is, what's your pay? तो लिहाजा keep in mind, effective writing के अंदर ऐसे लफ्ज कंफ्यूज करते हैं, कॉम्प्लिकेट करते हैं, और राइटर जहां इंप्रेस करने की कोशिश करे वहां रीडर कंफ्यूज हो जाता है, और वो रिलेशनशिप नहीं रहती जो कि होनी चाहिए. मैंने आपको फेमिलियर वर्ड्स का एक एग्जांपल बड़ी अच्छी देखते हैं कि कैसे आप फेमिलियर वर्ड्स इस्तेमाल करके एक चीज को बड़ा सिंप्लीफाई कर सकते हैं. हियर इज अ वेरी अनफेमिलियर स्टेटमेंट. आफ्टर आवर perusal of pertinent data, the conclusion is that a lucrative market exists for this subject property. You will come across such writings in business correspondence. अगर मैं इसको बड़ी familiar, simple words के अंदर explain करूं, I can communicate the same message just in 2 lines. The data we studied show that your property is profitable and in high demand. In अंदाजा लगाइए कितनी simple है. Now, let's look at the other aspect, that is construct effective sentences and paras. Remember that whenever you are writing, don't construct lengthy sentences. On the average, a sentence should not contain more than 20 words. एक सेंटेंस जिसके अंदर आप 20 वर्ड्स इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं इज ऑल राइट, लेकिन अगर आपका सेंटेंस एक्सीड्स फ्रॉम 20 to 40 वर्ड्स, आप उसे रीराइट करें, ब्रेक डाउन द सेंटेंस. आदत डालें छोटे सेंटेंसेस लिखने की, और आप कॉन्जुगेशंस के साथ सेंटेंस को ज्यादा लंबा मत करें, बिकॉज क्लैरिटी जहां मैं कर रहा हूं, बार बार कह रहा हूं, वो छोटे शॉर्ट सेंटेंसेस में है. और इफ यू स्टार्ट राइटिंग स्मॉलर सेंटेंस इवन लेस देन 10 वर्ड्स, इवन दैट मास्क द क्लैरिटी. तो आप अपने सेंटेंसेस को शॉर्ट, और अगर ज्यादा आपने इंफॉर्मेशन देनी है तो उनको छोटे छोटे सेंटेंस में. एक और पॉइंट विच आई वांटेड टू एम्फसाइज एट दिस इंस्टेंट इज कि एक सेंटेंस में एक ही आइडिया जब आप कैरी करेंगे तो आपको ज्यादा उस सेंटेंस को लेंथन करने की जरूरत ही महसूस नहीं होगी. सो क्लैरिटी ऑफ थॉट अगर होगी तो ऑटोमेटिकली आपके सेंटेंसेस छोटे होंगे. सो दैट्स व्हाट आई वांटेड टू पॉइंट आउट एज वेल, दैट वर्ड्स मिनिमाइज 20 automatically would make a sentence readable. आइए देखें कि हम अपनी राइटिंग में कैसे इफेक्टिविटी ला सकते हैं जब हम सेंटेंसेस को ब्रेक डाउन करें, छोटे छोटे सेंटेंसेस. It's a very good example. I think you will enjoy it. This memorandum is being distributed with the blueprints that show the final version of the new offices at our new Lahore headquarters, and are to be used later for discussion at the next board meeting, which is to be held on whatever day you want to say. अंदाजा लगाइए कि 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 long sentences, a very lengthy sentence. अगर मैं इसको अब सेंटेंस को ब्रेक करूं, read it and see how effective, how clear the new construction is. This memo is being distributed with the blueprints. The blueprints show the final version of the Lahore headquarter offices. Later, they will be used at the September 14 board meeting. This is an improved version of the previous sentence, which was very long. Here I have cut it down into 3 short sentences. You understand? So, practice writing short sentences and using few words. Unity is another characteristic which will determine the effectivity of the sentence and para. Unity इस लिहाज से कि हर सेंटेंस में एक मेन आइडिया must be closely interlinked, related to the other idea. अगर ये नहीं तो the sentence will mar the unity. उसके अंदर unity नहीं होगी. So one main idea closely related to the other idea is another very important characteristic for the effective construction of a sentence. जो example इस वक्त आप स्लाइड के ऊपर देख रहे हैं proves that here unity is very essential. We have safe deposit lockers and we have the maximum employees in Pakistan. Is a complete sentence. Information is there, but one main idea does not relate to the other. It lacks unity. Lihaza, when we talk about construction of a sentence or a paragraph, ये aspect भी जरूर देखिए कि length तो ठीक है, आपने lengthy sentences नहीं बनाने, उनको chop down कर देना अगर बहुत लंबे होंगे. At the same time, look for the unity in the sentences. Okay, one main idea is related to the other one if embedded in the same sentence. Another characteristics, the coherence. Words are so arranged that they express the intended meaning. आपने अपने सेंटेंस में जो वर्ड्स इस्तेमाल किए हैं वो क्लियर मीनिंग्स कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हैं कि नहीं, रीडर को कंफ्यूज तो नहीं कर रहे. और ये एग्जाम्पल जो मैंने अभी आपके सामने लेके आया हूं इज रियली गिविंग यू थॉट्स कि व्हाट इज एग्जैक्टली द राइटर वांट्स टू कम्युनिकेट. द कार इन द गैराज दैट ही wrecked, one sentence. And the other sentence is, the car he wrecked is in the garage. Now, in दोनों sentences में मफहूम different है. पहले sentence में the car is in the garage that he wrecked means he wrecked the garage and the car was inside. And the other sentence is, the car he wrecked is in the garage. The garage is all right, but the inside is a wrecked car. Now, so आप words को कैसे use करते हैं वो मायने बदल देंगे. Emphasis. आप सेंटेंस को कंस्ट्रक्ट करते वक्त एम्फेसिस किसके ऊपर देना चाहते हैं? लाइक राइटर्स मस्ट डिसाइड व्हाट नीड्स एम्फेसिस एंड देन चूज सेंटेंस कंस्ट्रक्शन. एग्जांपल देखिए, कैंडिडेट्स शुड बी मोटिवेटेड एंड हैव इंटरेस्ट इन पब्लिक स्पीकिंग एंड हैव प्रीरिक्विजिट्स एंड अदर्स. इसके अंदर एम्फेसिस आपको किसके ऊपर है? लिटिल एम्फेसिस वेयर द एम्फेसिस नीड्स टू बी देयर. लाइक कैंडिडेट्स शुड हैव प्रीरिक्विजिट्स एंड बी मोटिवेटेड फॉर पब्लिक स्पीकिंग. दैट इज, अगर कैंडिडेट्स के पास प्रीरिक्विजिट्स हैं और अगर वो मोटिवेटेड हैं पब्लिक स्पीकिंग के लिए तो फिर अप्लाई करें. लिहाजा कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ द सेंटेंस वुड डिपेंड ऑन द लेंथ, ऑन द यूनिटी, ऑन द कोहेरेंस, ऑन द एम्फेसिस. ये सारी चीजें बताएंगे कि हाउ इफेक्टिवली यू हैव कंस्ट्रक्टेड द सेंटेंस and what is that you want to communicate. I hope so far the elements I have discussed with you must be quite clear, and you will now from today onwards start looking at the correspondence, the writings you come across from these angles, and start incorporating these elements into your writing skills. Inshallah अगले लेक्चर में जो एलिमेंट्स रह गए हैं वो मैं उनके ऊपर भी आपको और फर्दर इंफॉर्मेशन प्रोवाइड करूंगा. बट इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू लुक फॉर मोर एग्जाम्पल्स व्हाट हैव ऑलरेडी गिवन यू. इंशाल्लाह ओवर अ पैसेज टाइम you will improve upon your writing skills. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.